श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय.
Om Sai Ram, Sri Sai Charitra Darshanam, Chapter 1, The Invocation. The Sri Sai Charitra is written by Govind Raghunath Dabholkar alias Hemant Pant with the blessings of Sai Baba. The first chapter of this treatise begins with the eulogy of Sri Gajanana, offering obeisance to the deities Sri Saraswati Devi, Sri Guru Maharaj, Sri Kuladevata, Sri Sita and Rama, and lastly to Sri Sadguru Sainath. The present and the following chapters have been started making obeisance to Sri Gajanana and so to Sri Saraswati Devi. Hemant Pant said, Sai himself is Sri Ganesha and Goddess Saraswati to his devotees. With the grace of Sai, Baba himself is supreme God and all deities are his reflections. Sai Baba, the light incarnate for the devotees, you are Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha. After offering obeisance to them all, Hemant Pant prostrates before his original ancestors, the founder of his Gotra, Nivritti, Jnaneshwar, Sopandev, Muktabai, Tukaram, and prays for his blessings. It is a custom to seek the blessings of one's elders, so he offers obeisance to all and says that all saints are different forms of Sai himself. After making obeisance to everyone, he takes the blessings of his mains. Among them, his grandfather Sadashiv, father Raghunath, mother who died when Hemant Pant was a child, paternal aunt who brought him up, and elder brother. Thus, making obeisance to all, he also bows down completely to the listeners, requesting, Be merciful and accept me as your own. I bow down to Sadguru, who blessed me with wisdom and inspiration. The dweller on the banks of the river Godavari, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha, the incarnation of Datta, I bow down to you. To serve at your Guru's feet is our Vedas, Shastras and Puranas. Hemant Pant says, prostration at your Guru's feet is your yoga, sacrifice and penance. Chanting his name are your Vedas and Shastras, and Sai Samartha is your Tantras, Mantras and Yantras. Offer your body, mind and wealth completely at the feet of the Sadguru and spend your entire life serving the Guru. The name of the Guru and intimate association with Guru, the grace of the Guru, the milk-like sacred water that has washed his feet, and sacred mantra from the Guru, these could be obtained with great efforts. There is tremendous power in them, and it takes the devotees to the threshold of moksha without them being conscious of it. The association with Guru is like the sacred Ganges water that cleanses and makes one pure. At the end of his obeisance, he bows down to all beings because he believes God is omnipresent. These are the auspicious beginning of this book, and the purpose of this opus will be narrated ahead. Once while in Shirdi, Hemant Pant went to Masjid where he saw Sai Baba grinding wheat. No sooner had the news spread in the village that people came running. 4 women forcibly took away the peg from Baba's hand and started grinding and singing songs about his Leela. When the grinding of the 4 seahs of wheat was over, the women thought that kind Baba would distribute this flour among the 4 of them. They began to fill their basket with ground flour, and with the intention to carry it, the women divided the flour into 4 parts. In the meantime, Baba yelled loudly, Are you mad? Where are you taking all the flour? He then told them to scatter the flour at the boundary of the village. In this manner, Baba averted the spread of an epidemic and totally eradicated the disease. It was not the wheat that he ground, but the cholera that was ground in the grinding stone, and thus Sai saved the village from the dangerous disease. The disease receded and the bad days of the village passed away. There were many saints, but it was Sai who was the one who ground the grains for the devotees. What could be the connection between the wheat and the disease? Having seen this inconceivable Leela, Hemant Pant thought of penning down Baba's Charitra and auspiciously began writing the Sri Sai Charitra. It is not a treatise but a wish-fulfilling tree. Seems unsavory to the worldly people. Absolution to the pious longing for emancipation. Experience it evidently through observation. Let us move on to chapter 2, the purpose of the narration. The chapter discusses why Hemant Pant wanted to write a book on Sai. We know that sadhus, saints or godly people can get their story written through anyone by conferring grace on them. Saints themselves get it done. The devotees are merely instruments in their hands. The life story of Sai is unprecedented. These stories give peace and quietude of mind to those who are exhausted in their worldly affairs. Such feelings gave Hemant Pant an intense desire to collect these stories and string them together in a garland of tales. But for this purpose, Baba's permission was a must. Hemant Pant told Madhav Rao about his wish. Seeing an opportune time, Madhav Rao said to Baba, Baba, this Anna Sahib says that if your permission is granted, then he has in mind to write your biography according to his ability. To this Baba said, I am just a fakir wandering from door to door for alms. Then why should there be a biography of mine? It will invoke ridicule. Hemant Pant thought in his heart of heart, why speak like that? This jewel must be put in a setting befitting it. If you grant permission and cooperation, I will write it myself and your grace will write through me, vanquishing all evil forces. The grace of saints is the beginning of a book. Knowing Hemant Pant's innermost wish, compassion arose in Sai Samarth and he said, your wish will be fulfilled. Make a collection of my stories and experiences. Keep the records and maintain it well. He will have my whole support. He, Dabolkar, is only an instrument. I myself write my stories and I fulfill the devotees' wishes and write my stories. Whoever listens to my stories and recites them and meditates upon them, their devotion for me will arise and ignorance will be completely destroyed. Thus Baba gave his blessings. How did Baba name him Hemant Pant? Narrating this story, the author says, I have always been mischievous and vile, but with good fortune I could reach the lotus feet of Sai. If I had no relationship with the foremost devotee Kaka Sahib Dikshit and Nana Sahib Chandorkar arising out of my association of the past life, that I could decide to reach Shirdi. Because of Kaka Sahib's persistence, I decided to go to Shirdi. But on the day of departure, my mind changed suddenly. One of my close friend's son died in spite of his guru's favor when he was in Lonavala. To save his son, my friend bought his guru and made him sit near him. He tried all human sources, charms and religious devices, but the destiny is inevitable. He could not save his only son. Hence the author lost his desire to take Sai's darshan. When Nana Sahib was a district officer, during his tour to Vasai, he came from Thane to Dadar and waited at the station for a while. There was an hour's time for the train from Vasai to arrive. Then he boarded the train up to Bandra and after reaching there, sent me a message. As soon as I met him, he asked the questions. When will we start for Sai Baba's darshan? Why this lethargy in going to Shirdi? I told him everything openly, but Nana Sahib gave me a lovable advice. And I promised him that I will start immediately. Packing my luggage and making all household arrangements, I started for Shirdi and reached there at 10 o'clock. When I alighted from the Tonga, just then I met the foremost devotee, Tatya Sahib Nulkar. He said, take darshan immediately. Baba with his followers is just around the corner of the Vada. Let us go for a short visit first. We hurriedly ran to the spot and prostrated in the dust at Sai's feet. I was blessed with Sai's darshan. On the first day of my arrival at Shirdi, an argument with Bala Sahib Bhate began. Why do we need a guru? That argument did not end. Later, when we reached the masjid along with other people and listened to what Baba had to say to Kaka Sahib. What did this Hemant Pant say? I was greatly surprised. I was speechless and felt ashamed. An unmannerly conduct had been done by me at the first meeting. Because of this controversy in the morning, Baba gave me the name Hemant Pant. The Yadav kings of Devagiri, who were also the Jadavs of Daulatabad, increased the glory of Maharashtra. In this dynasty, there was a king named Mahadev. His nephew was also renowned for meritorious work. Both of them had a minister named Hemadri, who was versatile and a man of many accomplishments. Hemadri, following the Dharma Shastras, had methodically laid down the religious code of conduct. The name in Sanskrit Hemadri Pant is the very name Hemant Pant in Marathi. Hemant Pant says, I am ignorant, dull-headed. I am unable to compose even a single verse. Baba bestowed this word sarcastically, to destroy the ego of my argument. A small piece of turmeric cannot give enough aloneness means I was puffed with inadequate knowledge. Baba opened my eyes by this timely collyrium of admonition. Let us move on to chapter 3, the purpose of the book, the consent. In this chapter, Baba gave Hemant Pant the full permission to write this book and said, "You perform your duty. Do not have least doubts in your mind. Have faith in my words. If you write about my Leela, it will wipe out all the sins that have arisen due to ignorance. And if you listen to it with full faith, your worldly involvement will disappear." Hearing this, the doubts in the mind ceased, and bowing down at Sai's feet, I started writing his Charitra. Baba said to Shama, "Whoever remembers my name with love, I will fulfill his wishes and increase his devotion. Whoever sings passionately about my life, eulogies my excellence, I will protect him totally by surrounding him. These devotees who have become one with me with heart and soul, they will be happy by listening to the stories of my life. If someone sings my praises, then I will always give him happiness and contentment. It is my promise." Baba narrated various practical and didactic stories, and similarly, everyone narrated their experiences they had and also unfolded the mystery of their conduct. Although the work of writing a book is not an ordinary one, even so, I respectfully obeyed Baba's order. When there is no one generous like Baba, why should I belittle myself? Baba made some of his devotees build temples, some to be absorbed in doing kirtan, some he sent on pilgrimage, and he made me sit down to write. When I took up the pen, Baba made me lose my own identity and he himself began writing a story. The credit of the story is entirely his. Who else but a saint can write? To understand the inconceivable virtues of Baba is like attempting to embrace the sky. His greatness is unfathomable. I do not have the intelligence to describe it. Sri Sai himself writes it for the welfare of his devotees, and he himself made it right. The author narrates an incident from his own life. In 1960, his government service came to an end and his pension was fixed, and a time came for him to go to Shirdi. It was the day of Guru Purnima. At that time, Anna Chinchanika made a recommendation to Baba and said, "As his family is increasing, have compassion on him. Give him another service. How will this pension suffice? Ward off his worries. Do something of this sort." To this, Baba replied, "He will get another service. Let him serve me now." Means he will get happiness in the world. His household will always be prosperous. He will not want for anything till his death. His difficulties will always be removed. Baba revealed the knowledge of this author as Lord Krishna revealed it to Arjuna in Gita. Baba says, "I am all-pervading. The world is made of movable and immovable objects, of names and forms, is manifested by me in the form of eightfold nature. The phenomenon is created by me only. The symbol Om expresses me. I am the only connotation of it. I am not the mind, intellect, or the sense organs, nor I am the matter or the gross form. I am not the subtle Lord Brahmadeva. I am the ancient witness without a beginning. In this way, I am beyond senses and I have no interest in the sense objects." When a disciple constantly worships his guru, he becomes similar to him. Similar brings the distinction in the mind that is not even tolerated by the guru. The guru's existence is not possible without the disciple, and the disciple is not separate from the guru. Just to form the relationship of the guru and the disciple reminds me of an incident related to Baba that I will narrate. Once a Rohila came to Shirdi and lived there for a long time. He was attracted by Baba's virtue and started loving him. He was hefty like a male buffalo, used to wear a kafni upon his ankle and lived in the masjid. Whether it was day or night, whether it was in the masjid or in the chavdi, he would recite the verses from the Quran at a high pitch and with extreme enthusiasm. Sai Maharaj was peace incarnate, but the villagers were tired of his conduct. During midnight also he used to jabber, and people could not sleep peacefully. The villagers complained to Baba about this. Instead of talking to Rohila, Baba, on the contrary, told the villagers, "Do not harass the Rohila. He is very dear to me. His wife is a Virgo and could not stay with him. She is eager to come to me by eluding him. As soon as he stops shouting, the wicked woman seizes the opportunity to enter. When he shouts, she flees. That gives me profound happiness, so do not oppose him. Let him shout to his heart's content. I cannot pass my night without him. I have great pleasure because of him." Because of Baba's permission, he started to recite the Quranic verses very loudly without consistency till his throat parched. Everyone was amazed how forgiving Baba was. Instead of having a splitting headache, the shouting sent him into rapture. Baba disliked association with one who loathed God's name. He said, "Why would you drive away the person who continuously recites God's name? Wherever my devotee sings, I stay there even without sleep." To prove the eterness of God, Baba behaved in this manner. The Rohila was subsisted on whatever he got in alms and went hungry. How could he have a wife? And how could she go to Baba? The Rohila was wretchedly poor. How could he have a marriage or a wife? Baba was celibate from childhood. So the whole story was allegorical. Let Rohila sing with a loud voice. Baba was satisfied with the recitation of the verses. He used to listen to them day and night. In this manner, Baba conveyed the lesson to everyone with the experience that he liked the Rohila's company because the Rohila loved chanting the names of God. One who perceives and that which he perceives is God to him. Such a person, whether he be a Brahmin or Pathan, is regarded as the same. Once, after the noon arati, when the people started returning home, then Baba said to them, "Wherever you are and whatever you may be doing, always bear in mind that I shall continue to be informed of the minute details of your deeds. In this manner, as I am described, I dwell in the minds of all. I am in the hearts of all pervading. I am the Lord of all. I promote the activities of the senses. I am the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. One who concentrates on me, for him nothing is difficult. But the moment he forgets me, Maya will attack and persecute him." This is how the Lord revealed it to Arjuna in the Gita. There is no difference between the sages and the God. Without any distinction, they take form for the benefit of the universe, consisting of the movable and immovable. If one wishes to surrender at the feet of the Guru, one should sing the praises of the Guru or recite the life story of the Guru. This universe is full of animated and inanimated things, is a manifestation of God. But the God is beyond even the universe, and the Supreme Spirit is beyond all. God is not separate from the worldly affairs. Sri Krishna, being the Supreme Brahma himself, bowed at Guru Sandipini's feet and said, "Remembrance of the Sadguru is the surest way to please me, who is Narayana. Singing the praises of the Sadguru rather than my praises is dearer to me. Therefore, listen to the story of Sadguru to achieve your own deliverance. The loving devotee should be spectator. Being without any wisdom, I have got a powerful Guru such as Sai. How great is the divine power! Sacred is Sai Charitra with the life story of Sai Samartha. Whoever recites this, his speech will be purified. Whoever listens to it, his heart will be purified. Listening to the story with love will dispel all worldly affliction. Extremely compassionate Sai will be pleased and pure knowledge will appear. This chapter has an importance. Although outwardly this chapter is about the purpose of writing of this book, then also it is important because in this chapter, out of 185 lines, 49 lines are Baba's own blessed words. Baba revealed clearly in this chapter about his devotion, the greatness of listening to the story, importance of religious conduct, and how to worship him. Wherever you may be, whatever you do, always bear this much in mind, that even your minute deeds shall be informed to me continuously. Let us move on to chapter 4. The appearance of Sai Samarth. The present chapter describes the reasons the saint takes birth on earth as human beings and what are those perilous tasks that they have to carry out. When people believe that happiness consists only in society, wealth, status, progeny, and family and turn away from spiritual values, then the saint manifest themselves. When there is a religious remorse and people lose the highest good, then in order to bring out the revival of dharma, the saints appear. When people to detriment of their health and longevity go astray in pursuing their sexual needs and miss the chance of their upliftment, at such times saints take birth to protect the religion of Vedic Hinduism and annihilate the sinfulness and to protect the poor and the weak. The saints incarnate on this earth. Their manifestations are always for others. They have no self-interest in that. They build the foundation in the form of renunciation around the scantum sanctorum of active worldly life. They build the temple of the ultimate good. They achieve the mission of life by working for religion and for awakening of religion, and once they fulfill their goal, they give up their mortal coil. Like Gangapur and Narasimhavadi, Audambar and Billavadi, so also the banks of the Godavari, the holy place of Shirdi is situated. The sanctity of the Godavari is renowned everywhere. They have been many saints and there are also many holy places on the banks of the Godavari. The water of the Godavari washes away the sins, and when it is drunk, it cures the ills of the worldly existence. This is described in Puranas. As you cross over the opposite bank of the sacred Godavari at a distance of 6 miles, as a Tonga enters Nimagaon, Shirdi comes within sight. In this Shirdi, Sri Sai appeared for the sake of the deliverance of the world. Sri Sai means the treasure house of knowledge. He was the maternal home of the Vaishnavas. His heart was as clear as a mirror and his speech always showered nectar. The king, the pauper, the poor and the meek were all equal in his eyes. He himself is God who moves within every living being. Just as Ekanath and Jnaneshwar brought glory to Paitan and Alandi, so also Sri Sai made Shirdi a celebrated place. Therefore, Shirdi is Pandharpur for us. Shirdi is our Jagannath Puri and Dwaraka. Shirdi is our Gaya, Kashi and Rameshwar. Samartha Sai's darshan is itself a mean for our union with the divine. Conversing with him washes away our sins. The Samadhi of Sai at Shirdi is a gathering place of all the saints. Taking darshan of Samadhi is the fulfillment of one's life. Then how can I describe the good fortune of those who have spent their lives in his service? Baba loved Namasmarana. He constantly repeated the word Allah Malik, and he used to arrange Namasmarana in his presence day and night. Once he commanded Das Ganu to conduct a 7-day Namasmarana. Then Das Ganu said, I will start, but Vittal should appear. To this, Baba, laying his hand on his heart, said, Yes, Vittal in person will appear, but the devotee should be full of faith. After the completion of 7th day chanting, Das Ganu had darshan of Lord Vittal in reality. Kaka Sahib Dikshit had the same experience. Once when he was in meditation, after his routine morning bath, he got darshan of Vittal. It was really a surprise when he went to masjid for Baba's darshan. Then Baba asked him, had not Vittal Patil come? Did you meet him? The Vittal is very elusive. Hold him firmly, otherwise he will slip away if your attention wavers even for a moment. Later in the afternoon, a hawker from another place outside Shirdi came with an intention of selling 20 to 25 beautiful pictures of Vittal. Dikshit was surprised to see the exact replica of the image that he had seen in the morning meditation, and he recalled Baba's words. Bhagwant Rao's father was a staunch devotee of Vittal. After his father's death, the performance of puja and offering of Naivedya was stopped. There was no question of an annual pilgrimage to Pandharpur. Later, once this Bhagwant Rao came to Shirdi. That time Baba recalled his father and said, he is my friend's son, that is why I dragged him to Shirdi. He never offers Nivedya and starves me also. He keeps Vittal hungry. Therefore, I brought him to Shirdi. Now I will remind him and make him do the puja. Once, with the pretext of the holy time of festival, Das Ganu asked Baba's permission to go for a bath at Prayag Tirth. Baba said, why do you need to go so far for it? This itself is your Prayag Tirth. Have strong faith in you. Have strong faith in your heart. And now I praise the wonder. As Das Ganu put his head at Baba's feet, water trickled out from both the toes as the water of the Ganga and Yamuna was oozing out. To this, Dasganu was overcome with emotions and said, "O Sadguru Raya, boundless is your power, and marvelous are your deeds. You are Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar. Having Baba's sacred feet to worship every day, it is not necessary to go on a pilgrimage to Ganga and Godavari." Thus, this Sainath appeared in village of Shedi under a neem tree at the young age of 16. No one knew in which place, which pious family, or which parents Baba was born. People got tired of finding it out, but nobody came to know it. In Shidi, the mother of Nana Chopka was very old. She used to tell the marvelous life of Sai Baba. In the beginning, this young lad, fair, handsome, and charming, was first visible under the neem tree, sitting quiet and cross-legged. Seeing the form of the beautiful child, people were extremely surprised. Hard penance at a tender age, son and share were same age, so tender and a marvelous behavior. All the villagers stared at him surprised and began coming from far and wide to get the boy's darshan. No company during the day, no fear in the night. Everyone was truly surprised to see the penance of that Bala Yogi, so tender of age and so good looking, who lived day and night under the neem tree. Lord Kandoba possessed the bodies of a few people in the village. Then someone asked them, "Who are the fortunate parents of this little boy? How and when has he come here?" "Lord Kandoba, at least you find out," the Lord replied. "Go, bring a axe and dig at the place I show you." Then, near the border of the village under the neem tree, as it was dug, they found a brick at that spot. When the layer of the bricks ended and moved aside, the lower half of a grinding stone, an underground cavern was seen, in which full samyas were burning. That cavern was paved with limestone. There was a flat wooden seat shaped like the cow's face and a beautiful rosary. The Lord said, "This is where the boy did penance for 12 years. The people started asking the boy with surprise. Then the boy replied, "This is the place of my Guru. This holy place is my inheritance. Maintain this place. This only I say." So, according to Baba's order, the villagers closed the cavern by replacing the bricks, as it was the adobe of Baba's Guru. One of Baba's devotees, Sate Sahib, acquired the surrounding land near the Samadhi and the neem tree and constructed a building with verandas on all four sides. On Thursday and Friday after sunset, whoever smears the ground with cow dung and burns incense, Sri Hari blesses them. These are the words of Baba. It was on 2nd November 1909 that Dikshit met Sai for the first time. Thereafter, he wished to reside at Shedi. Later on, huge Vada was built in the place of Dikshit's old Vada. On 9 December 1909, in an auspicious time, the building of the foundation was begun. Dikshit's brother, who otherwise would not have come even after an invitation, and Dada Sahib Kapardi were present. The day was important, as from this day the Sage Arati, the bedtime Arati at Chavdi, was begun. In 1911, on auspicious day of Ramanavami, the house accompanying ceremony was accomplished. Later, Srimad Bhuti's Vada was also built after spending a lot of money, and this money later proved to have been utilized well, because Baba's body rests here. Now there were 3 Vadas where there was none before. Chapter 5, The Reappearance of Sai. How Sri Sai Baba disappeared from Shedi and reappeared with Chand Patil. This story is narrated in this chapter. How Baba watered the place and created a beautiful garden of the gathering of Gangagir and other saints, and other stories narrated in this chapter. Baba had disappeared from Shedi, and now how this gem of a person returned to Shedi with a Muslim Bharat is the story. Chand Patil was a headman of the Dub village in Aurangabad district. During his travel to Aurangabad, he lost his mare and there was no trace of her for 2 months. Patil lost all hopes. Patil was completely despondent, and carrying saddle on his back, he started going back to his place. He came across a mango tree and found this gem sitting underneath. He heard this fakir calling him his name. Baba said, "Come along, sit under this shade, have a smoke of chillam and then proceed. Why this saddle on the back?" Patil told him about the loss of the mare. Baba told him to search near the stream, and the mare was found immediately. Patil was wonderstruck and thought that he had found an awliya. There is no limit to his powers. He cannot be called as an ordinary being. With his mare, Patil came near Baba. The fakir made him sit near him. He picked a pair of tongs. Chimta, thrusting it into the soil, took out a burning coal and put his chillam, and then there was no water to wet the chapi. He bet the satka on the ground and the water began to spring. Thus, soaking the chapi into the water, squeezing it, he wound it around the chillam. He smoked himself and made Patil smoke too. To see this, Patil was dazed. Thus Baba blessed Patil. A marriage was arranged with a girl from Shirdi with the nephew of Chand Patil's wife. Baba also joined the Bharat. The marriage procession came near Khandoba temple and halted under the banyan tree. All vehicles were threshed down at the open space in front of Khandoba temple, and along with all guests, Baba also alighted there. This youthful fakir was first seen by the Bhagat Mahalsapati. He went forward saying, "Welcome Sai." Later on, from that day, everybody started addressing Baba as Sai, Sai. The marriage was over and the Bharat went back, but Baba stayed behind and Shirdi became blessed. Sai Baba is imperishable, immortal and primeval. He is neither Hindu nor Muslim. He has no caste, gotra, kul, etc. A Vaishnava householder named Gangagir from Uttamba was a frequent visitor to Shirdi. He was surprised to see Sai Baba carrying water from well in earthen pitchers in both his hands, and he used to say, "How fortunate Shirdi, as it has got a gem like Sai Baba carrying water on his shoulder." He is not an ordinary person. Blessed is the soil of Shirdi on which he has sat his foot. A famous saint, Anantan, was the disciple of the great saint Akalkot Swami Samartha. In Shirdi, he saw Sai and said, "He is a real diamond. Although today he is lying on a garbage, still he is a real diamond. It is not just a flint, but a diamond." In his youth, Sai never shaved his head. He had long hair. He dressed like a wrestler. Whenever Baba would go to Rahata, he used to carry saplings of marigold and jasmine and planted them in barren land and watered them regularly. A devotee named Vamantatya regularly supplied 2 earthen pots to water the plants with his own hands. Continuing this process regularly for 3 years, Baba transformed the barren land into a beautiful garden. A devotee from Bombay named Bai used to worship Swami Samartha from Akalkot. He used to worship his picture regularly. He thought of going to Akalkot to have darshan of the Padukas and offer his worship with devotion. He had to go next day, but that night he dreamt of Swami Samartha, who ordered him, "At present, Shirdi is my adobe. You go there." Obeying the command with reverence, Bai came to Shirdi and lived there for 6 months with peace and happiness. To commemorate this vision, he installed the Swami's Padukas in Shake 1834. In 1912, in the half month of Shravan, under the neem tree by the hands of Dada Kelkar, with full rites and rituals. A dispute once arose between Sai Baba and Mohideen, the betel leaf seller, that flared up into a wrestling bout. In this wrestling, Mohideen proved stronger and Baba, being weaker, lost. From that day, Baba completely changed his attire. He put on a kafni and tied a lion cloth, wrapped a piece of cloth around his head, arranged a sack or a gunny bag to sit and sleep. He wore torn and worn out rags and was contented with them. He always said, "Poverty is better than kingship." Lord is befriender of the poor. Gangagir of Bautumba had a feeling of dispassion during his wrestling bout. At that time, he heard the word of grace. One must realize that his body should play with God, which means he should be serving God. After he discarded life and walked on the paths of spirituality. Later on, Baba only answered the questions put to him and never talked to anybody by his own. Baba Sahib Dangle from Nimagawun was dearly loved by Baba. Whenever he went to Nimagawun, he used to go to his home and stayed there with great affection. He had a younger brother named Nana Sahib, who had no son. He got married twice, but fate could not be altered. He came to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. With Sai's blessings, he got the prasad in the form of a son. After that, Sai's fame spread and his circle of devotees increased. Baba was surrounded with devotees during the day because at nightfall he returned to the masjid. where he stayed alone. In 1912, the masjid was renovated and the flooring was paved with stone. Before moving to Masjid, Baba stayed at Takya, and there only Baba used to dance and sing by tying bells around him. Sai Samarth was very much fond of burning oil lamps. Carrying tamrel in his hand, he begged for oil. During Diwali, he used to light oil lamps and then worshipped the light. Once oil mongers conspired against him, and when Sai went to ask for oil, they refused to give any. Without uttering a word, Baba went back to Masjid and put dry wicks in earthen pots. He picked tamrel from the parapet of the masjid, put some water into the oil and drank it. Thus, having offered it to Brahma, he took pure water and poured in the lamps, soaked the dry wicks, struck the matchstick and lit the lamps. Surprisingly, the lamps with water burned throughout the night, though there was not a single drop of oil in them. The grocers were stunned by the powers of Sai and they repented. Baba never thought of this. He had no friend. A fakir called Jawahar Ali from Ahmednagar came to Rahata with his disciples. The fakir started constructing an Eidgah. After some days, he was charged of defiling Veerabhadra. The construction of the Eidgah was stopped and he was driven out of the village. After that, he came to Shirdi and lived with Baba in the masjid. He hypnotized Baba and the whole village. He said, "Baba, be my disciple." Being agreed to it, they decided to live in Rahata. The Guru was not aware of the accomplishment of the disciple. Later, Baba started living in Rahata. The villagers thought that Jawahar Ali captured Baba with his powers. Baba's attitude was different. He was destroying the fakir's bodily pride. People of Shirdi did not like Baba staying at Rahata, so the devotees went to Rahata. Baba said to them, "The fakir is very hot-tempered. Do not cross words with him. He will never leave me. He will come back from the village. His wrath is terrible." At that very moment, the fakir asked them, "Have you come for the lad? Don't think of taking him back to Shirdi." Although he said so, he yielded to the pressure of the villagers, and at last he said, "Let's take this lad to Shirdi and take me along with him." In this way, both came back to Shirdi. Sai was the incarnation of Brahma. Jawahar Ali was a fake. Before Baba returned to Shirdi, a learned man named Devidas came to Shirdi. He used to visit Appa, Billa and Mahal Sapati, and Kashiram would give him alms. Fakir was brought before Devidas and debate regarding the Shastras took place. Fakir was won over, went to Vaijapur. His misconception that I am Guru and Sai is the disciple was cleared up. Let us move on to chapter 6, the narration of the story of Ram Janam celebration. In this chapter, the background story of Ram Janam celebration is described. Whether worldly or spiritual, the Sadguru is the captain of the ship who steers the ship along with passengers to the opposite bank. The word Sadguru immediately brings to mind Sai. He stands in front of the devotees with Udi from the Duni in his hand and touches his head. The devotee is overwhelmed with inner happiness and his eyes brim over with love. The touch of the Guru's hand destroys the subtle body. As soon as Sai puts his lotus-like hand on the head, the accumulated sins of previous birth are washed off. Sri Sai always assured his devotees, "In the home of my devotees, food and clothing will never be lacking." In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, "Those who wholeheartedly worship me and loving always serve me, I look after their well-being. Thus, I know to be my motto." This is also the affirmation of Sai. One should always seek honor at the door of God, should beg only from God and ask only for His blessings. People show off their intense devotion while worshipping in the temples with closed eyes and wandering minds. So let all such facilities be seized with such a devotional urge so that the passion of the sense may be transformed completely and may sprout devotional worship. This is the real worship. Let our minds be engaged in constant chanting of Sai's name and listen to Sai Satcharitra with full concentration. Sai will bestow his blessings on the listeners and will fulfill their demands. You may request Baba as much as you want, but he will give you only as much you can digest. There was a devotee by the name Gopal Gund. He spent his time in ceaseless chanting of Baba's name. He had no children. Later, with Sai's blessings, he got a son. Once Gopal Rao thought of holding a yatra or a urus yearly in Shiri village. Everybody was joyous. Tatya Kote, Ramachandra Dada Kote, Madhav Rao, and other leading devotees approved of this idea and preparations were begun. But for this function, the permission of the district officer was required. A person named Kulkarni put obstacles in the way, and the district officer issued an order that the yatra should be held at Shiri. To this yatra in Shiri was also Baba's wish. The villagers tried their utmost and made the authorities change their previous order. The people's wish was honored since then 1819 to 1897. According to Baba's wish, the yatra took place every year on Ramnavami. Tatya Kote looked after the arrangements. On that day, devotional singing and worship would take place to the accompaniment of drums and other wind instruments. People flocked there from all quarters in large number. The celebration of Ramnavami is the pleasure and glory of Shiri. Originating from the Urus, Ramnavami was celebrated for the first time in the year 1911, and since then it continues uninterruptedly to be held on this day. Every year, two new flags are ceremoniously carried in the procession and tied at the dome of the masjid and permanently fixed there. Out of the two, one would be Nimonkars and the other Damo Anna. They are taken with pomp in procession and they fly high at the top of the dome. The idea was first originated by Bhishma. Once he was peacefully sitting in the Vada and Kaka Mahajani was ready to leave for the masjid. Considering it as an opportune moment, Bhishma asked Kaka, I have an idea in my mind. Here, every year Urus is held, which is also the birth of Rama. So, is it not a natural opportunity to hold the ceremony of the birth of Rama? Kaka liked the idea. He told Bhishma to obtain Baba's wish, but Kirtan was a must for the celebration. Where to get the Haridas in this village was the question. Bhishma said, I would be the Kirtankar and you can accompany me on the harmonium, and Radhakrishna Bai would prepare Suntavada at the proper time. Baba asked about the discussion. Bhishma told him the idea. Baba liked the idea and it was decided to hold the celebration. Next day, seeing that Baba had gone to Lindi, a cradle was put in the courtyard with ceremonial preparation for Kirtan. Baba called Kaka and asked him as to why the cradle was tied here. Kaka explained the brief story and the reason behind it and the whole scheme. Baba became happy after listening to him. Then from the niche he took a beautiful garland and put it around Kaka's neck and gave another for Bhishma. There was an anxiety all around when Baba asked about the cradle, but when the garlands were put around the necks, everybody was at ease. Bhishma was a versatile man, well versed in narrating the katha. The kirtan was very enjoyable and the listeners were pleased. At the time of Ramachanam, Kulal went into Baba's eyes. He was enraged and looked terrible like Narasimha at the hour when Rama was born in the place of Kausalya. The action implied the favor of the birth of the Rama. Suddenly, he was annoyed and started abusing and cursing. Radhakrishna Bai was concerned about the cradle that would be broken into pieces. Baba regained his composure. On the second day after Gopal Kala and the Kirtan, the cradle was untied. Next year, in the year 1913, Bhishma was not available and Balabua Satarkar was to be brought for the Kirtan. Balabua hailed from Satara. He was known as modern Tukaram. Having heard of Sai Baba's name, Balabua's desire arose to have his darshan. Balabua met Dikshit and said that as his yearly Stephen was temporarily held back, he thought of having Baba's darshan and performing the kirtan here. To this, Baba Sahib replied that there was no certainty of payment. To give or not to give was in his hands of Baba, and even for the Kirtankar his permission would be required. While this conversation was going on, Kaka Mahajani came along unexpectedly and distributed the Odi. Balabua thought it to be a good omen. Dikshit told Balabua he would ask Baba's permission and if he granted, he would definitely let him know. Later, Balabua came to Shirdi after Baba's permission and Ramnavami Utsava was performed by Balabua. Baba ordered 150 rupees to be received by Balabua. Balabua was extremely happy when he was given as much earning as he would have had in 5 years in Kavate district Sangli for one festival. Later on, when Dasganu was in Shiri, Dikshit requested Baba to entrust the performance of the Kirtan at the festival every year. Since then, till this day, Janmotsava is celebrated with a lot of pomp and pageantry. The chant of Baba's name resounds in the skies and the atmosphere is suffused with joy. Just as he thought of Urus, Gopal Gund was inspired in the same manner to renovate the masjid. He had desire, so he got the stone ready, but the work of renovation was not ordained for him. Baba used the stones for the renovation of the temples of Ganapati, Shani and Shankara. Baba wished to renovate the masjid to be done by Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Kaka Sahib Dikshit. Accordingly, it happened later on. Both of them had got tired of asking permission. Then they made Mahalsapati, a goldsmith, their mediator, and Baba gave his permission. So the paving of the floor of the masjid was completed in one night, and the next day itself Baba started sitting on the gadi in the masjid. After that, in 1911, the Sabha Mantapa construction was started with great difficulty. This work was also completed in one single night by the devotees. In the night, the pillars would be erected, and in the morning Baba would start uprooting them. Again, seizing the opportunity, they would be re-erected. This continued. Earlier, there was no open ground. Dikshit thought that the site was a proper place to construct the Sabha Mantapa. Once, Baba was in intense anger. He caught Tatya by his neck with one hand and with other hand shook a pillar and tried to uproot it. He loosened it by shaking it, removed the headgear of Tatya, kindled it by lighting a matchstick, and threw it into a pit with anger. All the villagers were surprised. Bhagorao Shinde and Madhavrao tried to subside the anger and make Baba calm, but they too received the beatings and shower of brickbats respectively. Later, Baba became calm. He ordered the shopkeeper a zari bordered headgear and himself tied around Tatya's head. People were surprised. The cause of anger was not known to anyone. Sri Sai's sudden anger was a matter of fear in the minds of the devotees. But we cannot understand and apprehend that unseen power through which Baba destroys the evil. Let us wind up for today. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha.